Coming up on today's wrestling news, the Wyatt Sick6 takes a real-life twist.
Indianapolis gets WrestleMania at SummerSlam and Royal Rumble 2025.
A scary update on the Too Cold Scorpio arrest.
And a controversial WrestleMania documentary is finally airing. We'll tell you when.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. Right, let's deal with the fallout from last night's Monday Night Raw. Loads of stuff to discuss on the Raw Review podcast, What Culture Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from, of course, later on today.
Yeah.
But obviously everyone was anticipating what happens next with the Wyatt Sick6, and they less hijacked this week's show and more just asked them to play a tape. So, Chad Gable, spoilers for Raw, but why are you watching this before Raw if you don't want to know spoilers? Chad Gable qualified for Money in the Bank. Come on, Chad.
Yeah.
His recovery powers need to be examined, according to Xavier Woods.
Yeah, that's what's going on there.
Exactly. But after the match, we had all the usual Wyatt spew lights going out. Abby the Witch, Nikki Cross, appeared, creeped into the ring with some smoke, and Chad Gable got the hell out of there and then gave a VHS tape, remember those, to Michael Cole. It said, play me on it.
Yeah.
Subsequently in the show, they played it, and it was a sit-down interview between Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
I love this, by the way, but I'll just run you through what happened. So Howdy asked, he had like a voice distorter. Howdy asked Dallas, how did it feel when your brother died? And Dallas replied, hard this, like the most important thing in my life was taken away from me, like nothing was ever going to matter again. And Howdy also asked, do you think you're exploiting your brother's legacy? To which Dallas replied, all I ever wanted my whole life was to be like my brother. I looked up to him and I wanted to be him. And I worked my entire career and my life so I could have the opportunity to work there next to him. We were going to rule together and we finally made it. We were there and we had it. And then it was taken away from me. There was no one on this earth that feels more hurt than me from his loss. Not one person on earth feels what I feel. What am I supposed to do? Let him become a mausoleum? Let everybody forget what he stood for, what he fought for, what he believed in? They wanted to forget about me. They wanted to forget about all of us. We made them remember. We made them all remember. To which Uncle Howdy replied, yes, we did. You just look at social media for the reaction to this. Real emotional weight put behind this storyline. Like I say, a real life element now being factored in alongside all the, I don't want to say supernatural, but like spooky stuff, basically. And I just think, you know, to draw the line, obviously everyone knows he's Uncle Howdy, but to draw the line between Dallas and Uncle Howdy and to give it the human element was kind of what this story needed.
Yeah, this was fairly heavy and weighty material, considering one of the people in it was called Uncle Howdy with the voice modifier on, and like this kind of like everything you link to something like the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match and the origins of this character and something like that. Yeah, Fightful Select, you used the word just there. Fightful Select reported a couple of weeks ago that this wasn't intended to be supernatural. It would maybe lean on the spookier elements, sort of like inform everything Bray Wyatt ever did. But I guess this is what they were referring to. I guess this wasn't necessarily the direction people assumed it would go in, because you thought, oh, maybe there's going to be more attacks. It certainly feels like they teased more in the run-up to all of this. But no, this was a almost immediate tonal shift to give you maybe a direction of why all these bad things are going to happen. This was the rationale, I guess, from Bo Dallas of what, you know, him experiencing all this trauma and people not understanding the pain, and now people are going to understand the pain. And in wrestling terms, we can all obviously break that down to mean people are going to get attacked, people are going to get massacred, whatever their wording chooses to be. And yeah, it creates, you know, I am not predisposed to go for spooky stuff. You know, the delivery of the video is still loaded with that very, well, like, who's pressing the smoke button, who's filming the thing? I've got Kyle O'Reilly in as their editor, you know, like, if you want to, you can ask a couple of questions and already it like starts to make it more difficult to sort of square with real life. But the trauma that Bo Dallas is experiencing, both in real life and in the fiction, is very easy to relate to. It's very easy to understand, and it's absolutely the kind of, I don't know, foundational underpinning that maybe like a Bray Wyatt story didn't always have. Yeah, like he was a lot more cryptic in his explanations of things. This was right out front. There was no attempt to be flowery with the language. There was no attempt to ask you to infer things. Remember, like, Follow the Buzzards was even that was like always targeted Kane and said follow the Buzzards. Must be The Undertaker. Like, was it? No. The Undertaker was one match, one time at a WrestleMania, and then they were squashed at a Survivor Series. It meant very little in the end. Right from jump, this clearly means a lot.
Yeah, everything can be read into in more detail. I just love the human aspect to all this, and I'm willing to suspend my disbelief with all the like you say, the questions that could be raised by all this, because I'm just so into it. Really excited to see where it goes next. Whether they still continue to target Chad Gable now he's in Money in the Bank, or what, or whether he was just a pawn to use to make a point, to really make an impact. That seems to what he's implying. He's trying to continue Wyatt's legacy, and everyone's talking about the Wyatt Sick6, so they've succeeded. But everyone on Raw, everyone in WWE better watch out, because terrifying presence is a very apt way of putting it.
And, to your point there, everyone is indeed still talking about it, and how often was week 2 of a big Bray Wyatt rollout the point where everybody went, and it's gone. It's very much not the case. It's still, basically the hottest thing coming out of another Monday Night Raw. We look forward to your debates in the comments, keep it nice and friendly, but again, a heavy-hitting subject that feels like it'll hit most people, even if the spooky stuff is not for you.
Yeah, and I think with the knowledge of what Bo Dallas has gone through, everyone is willing this to be the best it can be, and they've nailed it first couple of weeks.
Indeed. Maybe the Fireflies will be out in show in Indianapolis over 3 separate, absolutely enormous events. Legendo, you win again, because we'll do your PR for you. WWE announced that Indianapolis is going to be the site, not just of the Royal Rumble 2025, which were the whispers last week, but the Royal Rumble 2025 and, quote, a future SummerSlam and WrestleMania. The report, the press release, which is available on WWE.com, you can go and read all the blurb on that if you like. But the big headlines from this are, yes, the Royal Rumble will take place in 2025 from the home of an NFL team you care quite a bit about.
Go Colts!
Yeah, the venue looks absolutely gorgeous, by the way. Go and check it out.
It does look lush.
But yes, the Royal Rumble 25 will take place there, but also a 2-night SummerSlam and WrestleMania has been booked for both. Going down the line. Now, this is sort of unprecedented, where a venue outright announces, obviously people within Indianapolis will be thrilled. WWE, I guess, are glad to announce this, a partnership of the 3 biggest events they do. It's another one of those cases where WWE seem to be embracing a city, if a city tax-wise is willing to embrace them. The 2-night SummerSlam that we already knew was taking place in Minnesota in 2026.
Yes.
Hasn't been confirmed for the 2025 one yet, but it certainly seems like it's going to be a pattern going forward. No date either for WrestleMania yet. 41 is, of course, happening in Vegas. We will be there, staying at the beautiful Oyo Hotel and Casino. Not yet confirmed, but I am enjoying the messages we are having.
Very much confirmed.
$1 blackjack, $2 beers. And Indianapolis can start getting hyped, I guess. Could this be WrestleMania 42? Do you think it could be as soon as that?
Yeah, the implication, seems to be the next ones that we've got free could well be there. Like you say, it's one of those ones where you hear it and you went, wait, they're doing 3 of the big 4 in Indianapolis. They're not consecutive. It's not going to be WrestleMania and SummerSlam. But
there is a SummerSlam gap in 2025 still.
Yeah,
next
you've got to try and fill it. WWE is so far ahead now in terms of announcing big events, like when they announced a 2-night SummerSlam, etc., etc. And that's for years in the future. You're just I guess my travel schedule's sorted for the next couple of years then.
That's it.
Like you say, it's obviously beneficial for everybody. Colts Stadium's awesome. I've never been lucky enough to go yet. But we'll be at the Rumble. We'll be at WrestleMania. But very exciting times, and WWE just going from strength to strength. You see that SmackDown number? Jesus.
Massive.
And the demo, like a 0.7 or something ridiculous.
This won't be relevant.
And they were going up against the Stanley Cup, I think. I don't really know a lot about ratings.
Game 7 for Raw last night, I think it was. I don't know. This, we sort of joke about wanting to attend all these events from our privileged position in this job, but millions of miles away in the UK.
Yeah.
There will be people in America that will genuinely make travel plans for this.
And we are pleased to announce the new What Culture Indianapolis office.
And if you're making your travel plans to big shows, I can't think of any on the horizon, certainly not ones at Wembley Stadium. Maybe if you were to be attending that, maybe just stay tuned to the channel. Just in case we had. Feels like a big Sunday in London.
Yeah.
It's a shame not to.
Feels like a day to go to the club.
Feels like you'd want to be involved. Anyway, let's move on.
Let's talk about a rather concerning story, actually, now, involving Too Cold Scorpio.
Yeah.
This is actually from a while back. June 15th is when this incident happened.
Sort of broke yesterday.
But all the details have subsequently come out. Too Cold Scorpio arrested on June 15th for violently stabbing a man during a gas station fight. However, Too Cold Scorpio claims he was acting in self-defense. TMZ Sports obtaining court documents saying this happened at 3:40 a.m. at Love's Travel Stop in Kansas City, Missouri. Too Cold Scorpio, aka of course Charles Skaggs, was working, he says, as a security guard at the store, and basically got into an argument with a man who had lit up a cigarette inside the establishment. They brawled outside. A knife was pulled. Too Cold Scorpio stabbed this man allegedly multiple times in self-defense, and as a result, he has been hit with 2 felony charges. He's put behind bars for the night. 1 count of first-degree assault and 1 count of armed criminal action. I mean, not much really to debate here. We're just sort of bringing you the facts.
Yeah, a scary scene. Obviously, the whole story, really, like the idea of a potential like cigarette being lit at a gas station, the stabbing scene, the idea of someone like Scorpio working that middle of the night security, I guess, for situations such as this, but then the way things can get out of hand. It's just a really ugly scene. As like to your point, we'll obviously have more on this story as when we need to report. You know, like Scorpio, I saw Scorpio wrestle 3 times over WrestleMania weekend. He gets those indie dates. He's sort of a very, very popular and beloved figure in our space. You know, like just this kind of like everyone's got a happy memory of either Flash Funk or Too Cold Scorpio.
Yeah.
But real life happens too. I guess it's just a difficult thing to get your head around.
I can't imagine, like, me and you driving across America, and like, oh, handful, we need gas.
Yeah.
Pulling in, filling up. Should we have a Butterfinger or something, a little snack for on the journey? Cling. Is that Too Cold Scorpio?
Yeah. That's just
what?
That's the best night of the trip, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the best night of the trip.
But yeah, unfortunate incident this. We'll bring you any and all updates as and when we get them.
Yes. Moving on to much lighter news. We said at the top of the news this was controversial. It's not, but it's a bit of fun in a controversial way in our little world.
It's happening!
The WrestleMania documentary is finally airing. Now, what if you...
Clear your diaries!
What is the WrestleMania documentary, you might be asking, because you might have forgotten, because WWE...
Which WrestleMania?
Yeah, WWE promised this was going to air the Wednesday after WrestleMania. They advertised it as much over WrestleMania weekend, and it looked super detailed. WrestleMania 40, behind the curtain. You saw talking heads with all 4 men involved in the 2-night main event. You also saw like little interview clips with the likes of Triple H, just basically everybody involved at the very top level of the very biggest event of the year. And it looked, you know, on the surface like another one of those excellent 24 specials that the network used to do, but on a particularly frosty story because we all tracked the numerous changes along the road to WrestleMania, and all of us wondered aloud, well, how have you gotten to that? How did this occur? At what point was there a pivot? At
the
what point
greatest
was the plan?
pivot in wrestling history.
Indeed. And then, you know, it just felt like plans were changing on the whims of certain people. You were trying to work out the political chess moves being made. Ultimately, we got where we needed to get to. Cody Rhodes finished the story, and I'm sure the documentary was thrilled to see that hand slap 3 for the 3rd time, so it had its natural ending. But then...
It wasn't the only one, let me tell you.
A couple of twists in the tail. There were delays made...
What could have gone?
Yeah.
Delays.
There were delays made to the documentary amidst rumours and reporting that certain people within the key to the story weren't necessarily happy with how the story was being portrayed. There were other talking heads being recorded. Brian Gewirtz came out to try and explain exactly how the process of Royal Rumble to WrestleMania went in a way just to clear all the mess up. Made it 10 times messier.
Yeah.
The documentary appeared to be one of those things that was going to be lost, like the Bret Hart Tom McGee match.
Oh, yeah.
And we were never going to see it, but no. To give you the date, it's going to be July the 3rd. I think that's Wednesday night.
It is, because something big's happening on the Thursday.
Indeed, yes. 7 p.m. Eastern on the Wednesday night in America. General election on the Thursday. We got a busy week. But also of note, to keep it within our world for a second, it is interesting to me, and it might not have escaped your attention too, that if WWE can keep viewers captivated to their YouTube channel on a Wednesday evening,
oh God,
what might wrestling fans not watch?
I didn't put that together.
10 to 15 minutes off. If there happens to be an overlap, or if there happens to be a follow-up, that's not the worst scheduling on behalf of them, is it?
They're going to get Dwayne to tweet all about it. Make sure you're locked in.
It feels like... this could be conspiratorial on my part. That I just... basically, since 2019, whenever, there's a possibility of a counter-program, a little klaxon goes off and... Boom, 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 can we be bastards? I think we can. We're out, wankers us. And then... Yeah.
Considering the Dynamite viewership last week, they might beat it.
Well, come on. Like I don't know if it's going to be to quite...
I'll be watching.
Well, and I will too. I don't know if it's going to be to quite that extent, but I will be getting the serial out at what I'm guessing 11 p.m. maybe UK time, 7 Eastern.
I'll be needing to train my body to stay up all night, terrified watching the election results the next night. So I might as well.
People on the West Coast, like mid-afternoon, just getting to flick on the WrestleMania.
Sons of bitches. Which is why we need to move into the Indianapolis office.
Get it? Well, I don't know. Is that? Where's that? It's somewhere over there, isn't it?
Somewhere great.
I'm not going to argue against moving us to Indianapolis.
Not good. Anywhere in America will take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just be good and say anywhere.
Go
right now.
Hoosiers. I think of the Hoosier Dome at WrestleMania, right?
I think of the Hoosiers. Goodbye, Mr. A!
WrestleMania documentary finally airing so we can say, goodbye, Mr. Dwayne, and finally put this insane story to bed. Or, like, reopen all the old wounds when there's a bunch of quotes that we have to then talk about the next time.
That drops and then he returns at SummerSlam and then we're back to the races, baby!
Yeah. Just, like, wins the belt straight away.
I can't wait. Lots and lots of stuff more to talk about, though. Rhea Ripley potentially returning ahead of SummerSlam. That is a story we'll deal with on the after news later on today, so do join us for that one. But let us know your thoughts on everything we discussed in the comment section below. And while you're waiting for that after news to drop, why not check out this video right here? We'll see you soon.